Same.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Yes! It's time for the CineBoiz podcast, and I'm so excited because we got such a great episode today. How are you guys?
Not as good as Kenny. Holy moly.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You know why I'm so excited? Because this is the 50th episode of the CineBoiz podcast.
Oh.
I know we typically don't keep track of like podcast numbers or like episode numbers, but I manually counted them out before we got into this. I said, we've been doing this for a little while. So this is episode number 50, and we are part of the Cork Bats Podcast Network. The other thing that's exciting is that our first ever episode of the CineBoiz podcast was released 1 year ago this Tuesday.
Sheesh. We didn't take a week off, basically.
Yeah.
We did take
1 week. 1 week.
We took a few weeks off, but for the most part, we've had an episode every single week, which is nuts. I thought for sure we would have been canceled by now. Whoever cancels podcast, who's in charge of canceling podcasts?
The public.
Yeah, well,
Rise and grind.
Zuckerberg.
they overlooked us,
Zuckerberg.
or they just love us. That's what it is. We're just so damn lovable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, we're the only podcast on the internet where 4 dudes get together and talk about movies. Again, don't fact check us on that. Don't look for any other podcasts. You're not going to find any. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, thank you so much. Please consider subscribing and telling a friend or 5. Basically, if you listen, you like us, you give us a 5-star rating. You can give us as many stars as you want. We prefer the 5-star rating, though. Maybe write something. Like a little review, a little blurb.
Ask a question in the review and maybe we'll answer it.
Yeah,
Maybe not, but maybe.
Of course. Also, if you're watching on the Cork Bats YouTube page, thank you so much. Be sure to follow Cork Bats on YouTube and like this video. By liking Cork Bats, you're helping us grow, and we're all about growths. So, growths. Sounds grosser when growth in the plural is always gross.
Mm-hmm.
Growths. Yeah. So thanks for watching. And yeah, like us, write a review on YouTube, follow Cork Bats. Guys, we got so much stuff to talk about today. But like I said, my name is Kenny. I'm one of the co-hosts of the CineBoiz podcast. I am joined by my 3 other co-hosts. Once again, we got Kevin Keith in Columbia. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, everybody.
Kevin, what are you big on this week, dude?
This week, has anybody else here started watching WandaVision yet?
Yes. 3 episodes in.
Because I am big on WandaVision. And I just watched. I'm no spoilies. No spoilies. I just finished watching the 6th episode last night, so I'm caught up. I think there's 8 episodes. I think there's 2 left. Maybe there's 9.
Yes.
So
I'm
on
pretty
the
sure
6th
there's
of
9.
the 9 episodes. 6
And the
of 9.
last 3 are all going
Nice.
to be an hour long each.
Oh,
Wow.
baby. Well, so I am big on WandaVision. To me, and so with the MCU, I started out hot on the trail, watched the Iron Mans, loved them, Thor, and I kind of cooled off somewhere in the middle and then picked up more steam towards the end with Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame. But that Avengers Ultron phase and Civil War phase, I kind of checked out for a while. I did watch them eventually, but I wasn't super tuned in. But that's really when Wanda and Vision really came on the scene strong in the MCU. And so I didn't really get a feel for how complex the characters were until I started watching WandaVision. And man, they're the most interesting characters in the universe to me, at least the most complex.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of stuff going on. And I was a little iffy on how the whole Disney Plus series thing was going to go for Marvel. And it's been a smash success in my eyes.
Yes. I'll say this. I also am very much into WandaVision. Love it. I am a little bummed by the weekly episode for a couple reasons. One, every time an episode ends, it's like, well, you can't watch anything else.
Damn it.
And you're just like, I want so badly to keep watching. Two, if I don't watch the episode immediately after it's released, it's going to get ruined on social media for me.
Part of the reason, so I wanted to wait and binge it all, but part of the reason I started watching it is because I can't be certain, but I think something got ruined for me from like a major outlet just by scrolling through Twitter and seeing a picture.
That's why I started, because I just couldn't wait any longer.
Right.
And it's like this source, it's a source where I enjoy their content. They should know better than to put that picture on the article.
You said you've watched 3 so far, Mob?
I've watched 3 so far. So I know there's something big coming.
At the end of episode 5, there's a big twist. So
and I think it's been ruined for me already.
Well, it's still a great show. MCU does a great job of constantly dropping Easter eggs that they can build off for in the future, and this show is chock full of them. Not to mention the super fun decades that they go through, starting with the 50s and working up through.
That's been fun.
The 90s now. It's been super awesome.
We're through 3, and so just going through 3, this doesn't ruin anything, but like the commercials are brought to you by like Stark Industries, and then like the watch has Hydra on it, and it's just kind of cool stuff like that that's interweaved.
And there's all kinds of theories online if you want to go dig in after you watch them. Like the amount of Easter eggs they're dropping per episode is like 50 or 60 an episode. It's hard to keep up, honestly. Yeah,
it's fun. Like, it's
Tom, you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
Yeah, I think because I hate the release one a week, so I'm probably gonna wait to start until I can just watch it all.
It's it brings me back to a different era though, when you used to have to wait for TV shows every week. You get to think about it for a while, and you're super excited for Friday night to come so you can watch it now.
Yeah.
It'll always remind me of the Lost era, because that's what Lost was.
Yep.
No matter how bad the show ended up being,
Yep.
every week you waited for Monday night or whatever, and then you were like, oh, I can't wait till next Monday night to be disappointed again.
I have a very specific memory. So we didn't have a DVR yet. It was like the 2nd or 3rd season of Lost. I was in high school, and we used to physically tape the episodes with a VCR. And my parents loved to talk through shows. And so I was getting so fed up with my parents that I was like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I went to my room. And my mom was upset with me for like probably 3 days since I ruined family time by not watching Lost with them on Monday night.
How dare you?
I was the height of teen angst at that point in my life. So
Nice. Yeah. Well, cool, man. And then we're also joined by Mr. Mob in Kentucky. Hello, Mob.
Mr. Mob.
Namaste.
What are you big on this week, dude?
Baseball season, it's time. I need something. Today was the first day without sports in a week, and I'm already over it. So I'm big on baseball season because I don't care about golf.
Not a sports podcast, but
Let's not talk about sports. Nothing to say.
hey, you know what? Sports are good for your soul.
Yep. So it's baseball season now. Ready for it. Big on it. Let's go. Pitchers and catchers report. Whatever. I don't know.
Got my Arenado jersey coming in the mail sometime in the next few weeks. Get here soon, baby.
Eat. All right. Well, cool, man. Cool. And then we got old Tom up in Columbia as well. Tom, hello.
Hello.
What are you big on this week, dude?
This week, it's actually an extension of what I was big on from a couple weeks ago. The new Netflix true crime docuseries on the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles was released this weekend, and I watched the first episode last night, and I was sufficiently creeped out, and so I am very big on that.
I finished it. It's great.
Ooh.
I started it late last night, so I was getting kind of sleepy by the end, so I could not keep going, but I'm excited for the rest of it.
Man, isn't that a bummer that we get sleepy at night now?
Yeah, man.
We used to stay up all night doing stuff.
Yeah.
I went to bed at 11 o'clock last night, and it was a damn Saturday, and I had nothing to do.
That's late,
I just went
dude.
to bed.
That's late. What do you...
I mean, I stay up till 11 or 11:30 on the weekdays.
I'll say this. If Xbox is involved, I'll be up till after midnight on a weekend. But if it's not, I'm going to bed real early. I don't have time to be staying up late. I got to get up early and enjoy the whole day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have the exact opposite mindset of that. Wake up late, stay up later, so you can enjoy more of the night without the sun.
Yeah, the sun is the worst.
Sun really grinds my gears.
Shut up about the sun.
Enough about the sun.
Enough about the sun.
Well, guys, you know what I'm big on this week?
Tell me.
The Chiefs winning Super Bowl 55, baby.
Why did you do that? Come on.
Hey. Don't believe the lies, okay? There's a lot of lies going around that Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. It's not true. Here's the thing. If I learned anything in this past year, it's that you don't lose if you don't concede, okay? So
it's not for a couple months anyway.
I do not concede that the Chiefs lost this Super Bowl. I'm wearing my Super Bowl champions hat. I was going to tape 55 right here, because the fake sports news media isn't making Super Bowl 55 Chiefs hats. So,
well, they did make them. They just are going to a different country.
Who do I have to get in touch with to get like some of that stuff?
So one of my good friends worked at a nonprofit one summer in college. It was they like do relief in Africa, and they get a bunch of the T-shirts and hats and stuff that are losers, and they send them overseas to people that need clothing. So there was like all kinds of like Super Bowl 34 Tennessee Titans champions T-shirts. I did not mean that to be such a shot. It was I was thinking St. Louis, and that was let's rewind that.
That's a shot at the drum drawer.
That's
okay.
Tough.
So here's what we need to do.
Take it as a shot, and I didn't mean it that way.
We need to get a hold of some of these Tennessee Titans Super Bowl 34 champions.
Totally unintentional.
Send it to them.
So sorry.
I need to find some of these Chiefs Super Bowl 55 champions gear. I really like the hat. I kind of want that hat. I was really bummed that they lied to us about who won. So I really want to get that hat. So if anybody listening knows of a way to obtain these items, let us know. Send us an email, CineBoizPodcast@gmail.com, tweet at us, whatever. I don't care. Like, I need to know if it's possible.
Yeah, we'd like to take away from the needy children in other countries for our own personal gain.
Well, I wasn't going to say it that way, but
that's what we want, though. That's what Kenny wants.
I would really like to have that stuff. But guys, enough about the Chiefs being champions again. Let's get into some box office numbers. And guys, we got some surprises this week. We got a new number one, but we'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to it.
Croods isn't two, then I don't even want to do this.
Yeah. So coming in at number 3, made $1.9 million, was The Little Things again.
Oh, okay.
Still hanging out, still there. You can still.
I watched it. It was fine. A little disappointing. You're right.
Exactly.
Not bad, but also
not great.
Not good.
Right. And then coming in at number 2, was Judas and the Black Messiah. Made $2 million. So yeah, okay, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We all saw it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at number 1.
Did it finally do it?
The Croods.
Yes!
A New Age.
The Croods.
Wow.
Coming in at number 1 at the box office.
What a time to be alive.
$1 million.
Almost feels like we need to watch The Croods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but at what point?
I don't want to, but
will it break records for being in the top 3? I feel like it's been out forever.
Yeah.
And it's been in the top 3 since we've been doing the box office.
Since we came back from Christmas break.
I'm just saying, animated some kids movie over some point the last year. We would have made some moolah.
Yeah.
Something to monitor.
Yeah. Hey, we can make an animated movie with these guys.
Hell yeah, we could.
You're an animator, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy for the Croods. They are the
Me
kings
too.
of the box office.
Hard to be number 2 that many years or that many weeks in a row and not win
Yeah.
a top spot.
Yeah.
Much love to the Croods.
Congrats to the Croods.
Shout
Well,
out.
guys, we talked about it a little bit, but Judas and the Black Messiah came out this week in theaters and on HBO Max. Me and lovely Catherine braved the coronavirus and went and saw it at Alamo Drafthouse. I think you guys all got the little photo I sent you from the Alamo Drafthouse. Yeah, one of the Alamo Drafthouse here has like a setup where they have the carpet from The Shining in the hallway, and then there's like a picture, and you can take a photo. So I did that because I like to do fun things. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Let's get into it, like without spoiling anything, even though it's history and everyone kind of knows what happens. But
If you watched the trial of the Chicago 7 earlier, you kind of found out an important plot point. But anyway, yeah.
yes,
One of my first thoughts to that point, though, is that Amy and I were talking. It's like we just weren't. This is just a part of history that you're just like not taught in
yeah.
No.
public school. I don't know about private school, you twos, but not Tom and I weren't learning this in the old
I was not taught
public
that.
school.
Yeah.
You're not
No.
taught this in private
You're
school either.
definitely not
It's a
taught this
bummer.
in private school. They did not
So,
touch on this.
It's sad.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really sad, and it's shocking that.
Yeah, it's just
It
it's a gut punch of a movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really.
Yeah, it's essentially, if you don't know anything about it, it's a movie about Black Panther leader Fred Hampton, and I forget the name of Lakeith Stanfield's character, but essentially he was
Wild
an-
Bill.
Bill O'Neill.
O'Neill.
Bill O'Neill, who was an informant for the FBI, who was very, very heavily involved with the Black Panthers in Chicago. It delves a lot into what the Black Panthers were, which again, it's one of those things when you're growing up, it's not really explained to you what they are. You know that they exist.
All you really know is Malcolm X, and that's about it. That's all you're taught in history class.
And Martin Luther
That's all I
King.
was taught.
And so you don't really
Lesser
get
extent.
right. You don't really get like into the weeds of like the Black Panthers and what they were about and how the FBI viewed the Black Panthers and actions they took to essentially shut down the movement.
I think we can all agree here. What's his face looked terrible as Herbert Hoover.
You mean
just a
J. Edgar
Martin
Hoover?
Herbert Hoover.
Here's
Edgar
a
Hoover
little bit of history.
looked
Herbert
terrible.
Hoover came back from the dead.
Different
Take
guy.
down. Yeah.
He was only
He looked,
50,
yeah.
50 years earlier. So whoops. But he looked bad, and he's a son of a bitch. We
Yeah.
can all agree on that.
Yeah. Not a great guy.
hmm
Not to be political, but
No, I think that's pretty apolitical.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
pretty common knowledge though. Like he really it probably wasn't as known until after he died, but like he really was someone who really abused his power.
oh yeah.
And it's kind of gross. By kind of, I mean it is gross.
Very gross. Well, what about from an award standpoint? What are we looking at from this movie? Because I think there's lots of ramifications there.
I agree. I think that Daniel Kaluuya and is it Kaluuya or is that the drink?
I was actually
I
gonna
think
ask
it's-
that myself.
I was going to ask too. There's like 3 U's in a row, so I don't
Yeah.
really know what
I've heard Kaluuya.
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 He's so good in it, like
Is there?
insanely good, like almost to a point where like I've seen him in a lot of other movies, and I feel like he has been like here, like in the here represents like good, and then this movie it's like just off
Yeah.
the charts good.
He almost reached Christian Bale levels for me, where I forgot he was British. Like,
Yeah.
holy hell.
Yeah, and he gained a lot of weight for the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did.
Again, Christian Bale.
Yeah,
Yep.
he knocked out the park. There was the scene
Yeah.
where they're in the church and he's giving the speech after he gets out of
Oh.
jail,
Goodness.
and it was,
That was the best
like,
scene in the movie.
Holy moly! Like he's so good. And then Lakeith Stanfield, who I think is probably one of my favorite actors currently. Such a complicated character. Like,
Yep.
you don't know how you feel about him. It feels like you should be rooting for him, but really when it comes down to it, it's like, no, like he was.
It's
But
very real.
I feel like he was also like a sympathetic character because it starts off him getting busted for car theft, and
Mhm.
so he ends up finding himself like stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it's just like, yeah, it's like you don't really want to root for him for what he's doing, but you also kind of like, I don't know, sympathize with like maybe with the position he's found himself in.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Kenny.
No, what were you gonna say?
He could have done the time for the crimes he committed, but he chose to go the other way, to chase the shiny thing.
Yeah.
And
I think
do
it was one of
something
those-
pretty.
I feel like
Didn't
that's one of those
necessarily
things
know what he
that's
signed up for in the
right.
beginning, probably.
And I feel like that's one of those
You're
things.
probably right.
And I feel like that's one of those things that's like easier said than done.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like when you're faced with like a prison sentence, like regardless of the length of time, and you're given this opportunity to like not go to prison, like not going to prison sounds pretty great. What do I got to do?
Yeah.
Well, and it's a very real movie in the ways that there's not a lot of redemption involved. It
Right.
just kind of ends
Yeah.
and you're like, oh man. And that's I'm kind of glad they did it that way, because if they had tried to somehow bring back this kind of shiny, glossy ending, it would have lost the message a little bit. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you get to the end, like you see that there could not be any glossy ending. Like the way everything turned out for everybody involved, it was not a great ending.
Yeah. No, it was awful. Like basically huge abuse of power. People die. And then you have to, as you know, Bill O'Neill lives out the rest of his life just living with, on the surface. They showed the actual interview from that documentary.
That was insane.
Yeah. And
they looked almost identical, by the way.
Yeah.
At least the way they were dressed, it was awesome.
Right. And literally just like having to live with that guilt and then also try to like justify it. Yeah, that is a tough place to be in.
It was one of those movies where the credits roll and you just kind of sit there for a couple minutes in silence, and you're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a while to kind of regain your composure a little bit.
Yeah. I highly recommend it though.
I think it's currently sitting at 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know who's given that rotten, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I can't imagine. It's on HBO Max as part of Warner Brothers releasing all their movies on HBO Max deal. If you want to go see it in a theater though, and you have the ability to, I say go do that. Support local business. And support the arts.
Quick update on something spoken about earlier. It's Kaluuya. So the two U's are pronounced with a U. Daniel Kaluuya.
Also, I think Lakeith Stanfield's like my favorite name in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Lakeith, that's an awesome
Hey,
name.
when you put
No
those
bias
two
either.
when you put those two on a screen together,
It was
good
amazing.
things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that he was in Get Out.
Yeah.
As that original
both were,
trapped guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Lakeith is like he's in I don't know if you guys ever saw
He was in Sorry for Calling.
Sorry for Bothering You. Yeah.
Bothering You.
Or Sorry to Bother You.
Super weird movie.
So it just gets
started normal
weirder
enough.
and weirder.
It was so.
It's like
I saw that at
movie-
Ragtag, and by the end, I was like, "Where am I? What am I doing here?"
The movie itself, that movie really lends into like a surreal kind of like idea. But like even for it being a surreal movie, the first probably hour and a half of it, you're like, okay, it's a little weird. And then it just goes insane for the last 20, 30 minutes of the movie. You got to see it. Like I can't even like explain why. If
I don't think I know what this
it.
movie is.
I recommend it for the experience alone.
Yeah. It is. It's really good. I really liked it.
Came out 2 or 3 years ago, probably, maybe 2 years ago. Time's hard now. I don't even know what.
Yeah, I can't keep track of years.
It was on Hulu for a while.
I think it's definitely on something. You can definitely watch it on like Hulu or Amazon. It might be on Netflix. I don't know, but I highly recommend it. It's funny too. Like it's a good movie.
I also think Dominic Fishback could be nominated potentially for something. Now, okay, I had a question. Do you think Daniel Kaluuya, will he be nominated for Best Supporting?
Yeah, I would think so. I think he's not like the
Yes.
main character of the movie.
It's dumb though. I feel like there should be a screen time limit. If you have X amount of screen time, then you can be Best Actor.
Yeah, because
Like I think you should be able to have 2 Best Actor nominations from one movie.
I think that's fair.
I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking, so, you know, and there's also been a debate of like, you know, put all the actors, whether actor or actress, in the same field.
Mhm.
What if, hear me out, the NFL does MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year? What if for each category you had like Best Overall Actor, and then you split them out, and then whoever didn't win that one, you split them out into categories, and then you can do it that way.
That'd be
I
pretty
think that'd be
sick.
fun.
Yeah.
It'd be
Imagine
wild.
winning Best Actor of everybody.
And
Right.
then save the stuff like sound mixing and editing for like a whole separate show because I don't care about that.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right.
Just give me the actors, actresses, directors, screenplay. That's all I want to know.
That's fair.
You have the most valuable actor
I like it.
or most valuable thespian, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I do like this. It's a good idea. Who do we get in touch with? Who do we call?
Austin,
Yeah, I guess he went to the
He's
Academy
been
Awards.
there.
he's
our
got an in
closest-
somehow.
Jim
He's
Rome's got to know somebody, right?
Yeah. I mean, Austin right now is our closest like what's the contact to the Academy of Motion Picture and Sciences. So
Great.
Austin, well, I'll give you a call this week. Justice League trailer came out today.
Yawn.
Cool. It looks the same.
It didn't look at it all different.
Yeah.
but Jared Leto's in it.
Jared Leto's the Joker, bro.
I was gonna say something. I got nothing. Honestly, I don't care anymore.
Is it going to be like a completely different movie? Like I've seen Justice League. I didn't care for it. I
I honestly don't remember a single thing about it. That's
Yeah.
how boring it was.
It's going to be a 4-hour movie. We know this.
Ah,
So is there just so much more stuff in there as part of the original story, or is it just a completely different story? Or yeah. It's
I am intrigued by it. That doesn't mean I'll watch it, but I am intrigued.
problem is
by
I probably will
everything
watch it.
Kenny said.
Mhm.
unfortunately.
I'm definitely gonna watch it. Like I mean I
What
feel
else do
like
we have to do?
the downside is that I waste 4 hours and feel the same way I felt about the original Justice League, or it turns out to be really good and they actually like did a good job with it, and I'm happy. I mean, I don't really have anything to lose other than 4 hours, but
4 hours on a weekend is a long time to lose. So
that's true.
you almost just got to pop that in right after work. Pop that in. What year is this?
Put it in the VCR. It's one of those like 2 tape sets. Like
Oh,
Titanic.
yeah.
My mother and father-in-law still have a box TV that has the built-in VHS and DVD player in the bottom of the TV.
Nice.
It's their main TV
My grandparents
that I
have
have
one of
to
those.
use.
I remember like Titanic, Braveheart.
Mhm.
What were some other like 3-hour movies?
I want to say Gladiator probably had that.
Gladiator.
Yeah, probably.
Well, the other thing too is that like I figured out why they did that because when the Fellowship of the Ring got released on VHS, which we bought because that was like right at the cusp of switching over to DVDs. We bought the VHS of Fellowship of the Ring, and it was only 1 tape. By the end of the movie, the soundtrack was completely off. Like it just it didn't match up at all. It was really bad. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's probably why they did like the 2 tapes, is so they could didn't get all funky. But,
Interesting.
There's something nice about having a little built-in intermission too, but when you changed over.
yeah, that's true.
I think the theater I saw Return of the King in took a physical intermission.
Did it?
Really?
I think so. I didn't see it in Missouri. I saw it, I think, in Florida randomly.
Yes.
But
The only movie I've seen that had an intermission was the movie Gods and Generals, which was like that Civil War movie. Went to it for like a history class when I was in high school. And there was an intermission because that was a 4-hour movie.
I remember Jeremiah Johnson has an intermission, which is kind of weird because it's like at most 2 hours. But there's a section in the middle of the movie where it like has just this snowy winter scene for 10 minutes. It just says intermission, music plays, get up, do what you gotta do, stretch, get another drink, and then get right back to it. But it seemed like an unnecessary movie to have an intermission in.
Yeah.
Well, that just used to be part of the thing that they did in movies.
It's true.
Didn't White Christmas have that too? Like a little intermission?
I don't think so.
So what am I thinking of?
But a lot of movies do have that, yeah. Old movies.
Fair enough. Well, so Justice League, it's going to be 4 hours. So set aside your Sunday or whatever to watch that and enjoy yourself. So the last thing I want to talk about before we get into Tommy's trivia. I made a post on the tweeters and the Instagram this week in regards to a certain actress being fired for certain things that were said on her personal Twitter account. So Gina Carano from The Mandalorian was fired this week because of some things she posted, comparing essentially, being a conservative in America today is like being a Jew in the Holocaust. Not great.
Not quite the same.
Yeah. What I wasn't expecting, and to be fair, we don't want to it's tough because we don't want to, really all we were doing was just posting a news story. And then we started getting some responses.
Some chirping.
Yeah. We started getting some responses about, well, if she gets fired, then Pedro Pascal should get fired. I didn't know there was a whole thing with Pedro Pascal. All this to say, we are not ones to say who and what and who should get fired for their jobs for posting things on social media. That's not the point. All we're doing is just posting a news story. But we will say, and I think we can all stand by this, just don't compare things to the Holocaust. Like, no matter what it is. And I'm not saying that she should have been fired or he should be fired. We're not saying that at all. Just don't do it. Yeah. Fair enough? Can we all agree to this?
I agree.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Don't compare.
I have never gone through anything as horrific as a Holocaust.
Yes. I think that is something we should all say. Admit to the world. Literally the worst event in modern human history. Nothing compares to it. So just don't.
You got let go of a Hollywood TV show. Just relax a little bit later.
Right. The only time you should compare something to it is if there's another Holocaust.
Yeah, genocide needs to be involved.
Yes.
And no one's hoping for that. I would hope. So
what a wild move.
Let's just not compare anything to it.
Yeah, man. Just don't do it. And look, like I said, whether someone is fired or not fired, doesn't matter. We don't make those calls. I wouldn't have cared if she kept her job. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. All I'm saying is just think about what you're saying. Just think about it,
And that goes for everyone who breathes.
Anyone. Doesn't matter. Just don't do it.
I don't care what side of anything you're on.
Yeah.
Also, maybe just don't use social media.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, think about it. That's why people are getting in trouble for the most part these days, is because they just use it with reckless abandon. It's just don't use it. Have it.
If you're famous, there's almost no upside unless you're a handful of celebrities that uses it really for wit and humor.
Right.
There's almost nothing good that can come out of you using it. Almost nothing. Especially if you're an actress that people don't really know or care of that much. Just lay off a little bit.
Right.
If you get famous, just nuke your Twitter. Just get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Be gone.
Yeah.
When Mom gets famous, he's told me he's going to just get rid of all his social media. And that's a good idea. It's a great idea.
I'll have a couple burners.
I mean, yeah, that goes without saying. But
I mean, legitimately, like I've had the thought in my head that I might just cancel all of my personal social media and just run CineBoiz 24/7 because I spend more time on that anyways.
That sounds
it's gonna
great.
be funny when you post as the CineBoiz, like a picture of you and Catherine someday. That'll be great.
Congrats to Kenny and Catherine on being people.
Yep.
That'll be
I
it.
look forward to that day. That'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
It'll be like you'll be like just grilling with the babe, and it'll just be like a picture of you grilling some hot dogs, and it'll be on the CineBoiz feed.
Yeah. Be sure to listen to the CineBoiz.
Yeah.
All right. So we are anti-Holocaust. We're anti-comparing things to the Holocaust, and we're anti-social media. Even though we have social media accounts, and it's how we attract followers and listeners. So, damn you, Zuckerberg. You got us by the balls. Well, enough of this BS. You know what? Let's do something fun. That wasn't fun. Let's do something fun. Let's get into some of that Tommy trivia, bruh.
All right. Yeah, so today is Valentine's Day, so I thought it would be fun
And he just remembered.
to do a little trivia on Silence of the Lambs because today is the 30th anniversary of its release.
Can we clip that off and get a GIF of Kenny's reaction? That was priceless.
Happy February 14th. But this week I thought it'd be nice just to do something a little different. Usually I'm quizzing you guys, but I thought, I'd just do some research and just throw out a few fun facts of the movie Silence of the Lambs. I was having a good time with this yesterday. I was just going through some stuff, found some interesting pieces of info, and so I just want to share that with you guys now. So Silence of the Lambs, when it came to be Oscar season, this was the third film ever to win all of the big 5 Oscars. So it won Best Picture, Actor, Actress, Director, and Screenplay. And then only to be like matched by, at the time, I don't know if it's happened since, but at the time, it had only been matched by It Happened One Night and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Huh.
So yeah,
Didn't one of the Lord of the Rings win all 5?
I don't.
Well,
Lord of the Rings ever won any acting?
Don't they hold
No,
the
they
record
didn't.
for most?
It's tied.
It's
It's
like
tied
9 or
for the
something.
record.
Yeah.
So Return of the King tied for amount of Oscars won with Titanic. And
13,
Titanic
right?
also didn't have any acting Oscars either.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one thing I came across was, I think, like, as of 2018, at least, it's just those 3 still that have only ever won all
Hasn't
5 of the
happened
big
since
ones.
2018, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I think probably of all time, yeah. at this
Unless
point.
Grinding Nemo swept all 5.
I don't think
can't
so.
remember.
No,
Not.
it didn't.
Okay, well, cool.
I don't think there's any Oscar like acting Oscars for that one.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Next piece of info I thought was interesting. Michelle Pfeiffer was actually originally considered to play the part of Clarice Starling, but she ended up declining due to the violent subject matter. And the same for Gene Hackman. He had actually initially split the cost, I think, with Orion Pictures to purchase the movie rights from the book. And was going to star and direct, but then he dropped out after realizing he'd be following up like his movie career with like another really dark character. Because I think right before that he had done Mississippi Burning, and his character in that movie was like just this horrendously unlikable FBI agent character. So he didn't want to like do 2 in a row of just these awful characters that then he'd be branded as that, I guess, the rest of his career is what he was afraid of. So fun little fact.
Neat.
Yeah.
I can see how being in that movie would be unsettling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
I got some Silence of the Lambs trivia for you.
Lay it on us.
Do you guys know who played Hannibal Lecter before Anthony Hopkins did?
Brian Cox.
You got it.
Nice.
Congratulations.
I've seen that movie. It was not that great,
Manhunter, which then became Red Dragon.
which is a better
later
movie.
on. Yes, I agree.
Anthony Hopkins based Lecter's voice on Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, Katharine Hepburn, and Truman Capote.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as I read that, I was just like, I can hear elements of like all three of those individuals in that voice.
Yeah.
And then when this first came out, Gene Siskel of Siskel and Ebert fame, he ripped this movie to pieces when it came out because he thought it was trash and thought it was kind of like Much Ado About Nothing. But that's why he was kind of an idiot.
Such a dummy.
R.I.P. I think
Laying a smackdown.
Yeah, he sucked. I hope he's okay.
And then that was kind of all I want to share. Some fun tidbits for you this week. One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Well, thank you, man. Like my brain feels big right now. So
Good. I hope that was interesting for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do we got any movie anniversaries?
We do, as always. Happy 5-year anniversary to Zoolander 2.
Whoa.
I didn't see it, to be honest.
I started watching it and stopped.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Wasn't good.
I didn't even try.
Yeah, me neither. Happy 10-year anniversary to Justin Bieber, Never Say Never.
What a great movie.
I enjoyed that one a lot.
I can't believe that's that old.
I know.
So our first two movies have Justin Bieber in them.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
I forgot.
That's wild. What are the
Nice.
chances?
Happy 25-year anniversary to Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Don't think Justin Bieber was in that one.
I don't.
Probably
Was he
not.
born yet?
I don't. It was close.
96.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Probably.
old Justin Bieber is.
Probably about 25. Let's
Really?
look. I don't know. How old do you think he is?
I bet he was born in 94.
Oh man.
I was
guess,
thinking
like,
about 25.
I guess like I just don't have any gauge on like how old
He's
people are.
26 years old.
Tom
so
nailed it.
He was
94.
alive.
He's 26.
Well, if Happy Gilmore came out in never mind. My math's bad.
We're not a math podcast.
Yep.
Once again, we have to say it again.
I don't know where my thoughts were there. I apologize. Well, Tom, thanks again, dude. You killed it. You always do.
Welcome as always.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. We had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the CineBoiz Podcast. Be sure to like, review, rate, all those things. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to like and follow Cork Bats on YouTube. Also, corkbats.com. It's a website. Check it out. You guys have anything else you want to say? Lost for words. All right. Go Chiefs.
I'm sorry, Austin.
Yeah, sorry, Austin.
Sorry.
I really
Sorry about
truly
the
didn't mean
Titans
it. That
thing.
was just uncalled for. Totally my bad.
Zoe.
Sorry.